Okay, I think we might get started as we're starting to see some people coming in to the meeting. So good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to this webinar. My name is Emily Helens, and I'm the Executive Director here at ANZCCJ. And today we're very excited to join you for this session to be held in collaboration with TOSBEC, the Tokyo One-Stop Business Establishment Centre. TOSBEC provides administrative procedures from those starting businesses in Japan, such as assistance with articles of incorporation, company registration, taxation, social insurance, and immigration through the help of free consultations with representatives from the Tokyo Metropolitan Government. I'll hand over to Fujino Mari-san from Pasano in a moment, who will explain their services in a little more detail. TOSBEC have been holding a range of online events this year, covering topics that are most in demand by their clients, and they've kindly offered today's session specifically for the ANZCCJ community. We hope that you find the content useful for your current or future business plans. We're also very lucky to be joined by Hiroshi Kawai, a certified SME consultant who has extensive experience working in one of Japan's largest banks, as well as 18 years working for a major manufacturing company in Europe. Kawai sensei will be sharing information and advice related to regular loans and subsidies available for those who are either considering the establishment of their own business in Japan, or those of you who may have started your businesses already. So before I hand over to Fujino-san, I do have some quick housekeeping notes. As we mentioned on the event registration page, today's webinar will be recorded and uploaded to the ANZCCJ event gallery. As this is in conference call style rather than our usual webinar style, your video will be visible. So if you prefer to remain anonymous, please be sure to turn off your video function. And if you have any concerns about this, please contact us at ANZCCJ using the email address info@anzccj.jp. Also, to prevent any sound interference during the session, we do ask that you keep your microphone muted. Finally, although we did receive some questions from you all in advance of today's event, we do have plenty of time for Q&A towards the end, so we encourage you to send any extra questions or comments through the chat box, or else you're welcome to hit the raise hand button and we'll call on you directly. Finally, if you don't necessarily have any questions, that's fine too, but perhaps you can leave us a comment introducing yourself. So on that note, I'll hand straight over to Fujino-san from Pasano, who's going to give us a quick overview of TOSBEC. Thanks, Fujino-san.
Okay, thank you for introduction of TOSBEC. So this is Mari Fujino from organizing TOSBEC seminar. So I will touch on the function at TOSBEC at first. I will share my screen. Okay. The TOSBEC benefit you by providing administrative procedure required for you to start a business in Tokyo at one place. So in order to start a business, typically you may have to go to Civil Bureau to submit documents. However, at TOSBEC, each consultant from governmental office offers free consultation and support submission of documents. And there are 5 merits of TOSBEC. Our consultants services for both Japanese and foreigners as free of charge because TOSBEC is co-established by Government of Japan and also Tokyo Metropolitan Government. We are offer interpretation services for free of charge. And there are 3 venues, Akasaka, Shibuya, and Marunouchi. Due to coronavirus situation, we are stopping on-site services for a while, but we have resumed face-to-face consultations since June 15th. So I'd like to use face-to-face consultations. Please email to this email, support@tosbec.org, and check the statement via TOSBEC website. And also, you can call a small and medium enterprise management consultant free as many as time you want. So please use it. So okay, I'm Anne. Thank you very much. So let's move on to the lecture. So today's speaker is Kawai sensei. So Kawai sensei, どうぞよろしくお願いします。
Yes, hello. Thank you for Fujino-san. Can you hear me? Okay.
I can hear you.
Yeah. So my name is Hiroshi Kawai. Working as consultant for SME, a small medium enterprise in Japan. I'll speak about subsidy or grants provided by the government. Today, September 11, it's a special day. I remember 19 years ago, it was in New York. Disaster happened in New York. Then I was in London, and I remember this day very well. Anyway, shall we start right now? Subsidy. At first, I'll give you basic information. In Japan, in total, in whatever subsidy, in total there are 3,000 different types of subsidy provided in Japan. Somebody told me 3,000, quite a lot. So people, even Japanese, it's difficult to get everything and which one is suitable for them. So today I will explain major ones out of a huge number of subsidies. Look at the second paragraph. There is no difference to apply between Japanese and foreign people. As long as the company is established in Japan under Japanese law, the right to apply is equal. Then look at third paragraph. Yeah, subsidies, of course, is not, you don't have to repay, you don't have to pay interest, so it's free money. It's good. And so but there are some special conditions or restrictions, so I will explain later. So today, yeah, I said 3,000 different subsidies exist in Japan, but today I will explain some major subsidy provided by the Japanese government, national government, together with local Tokyo metropolitan government. A subsidy from Tokyo metropolitan government I'll speak about. So next slide. And I give you two very important tips in this case. First one, subsidy. Yes, it's free money, but I explained here, you can claim the subsidy money upon the completion of your investment plan. So that means in order to apply, you prepare your business plan. And then, if you're successful to get the right of subsidy, the money is not coming soon. It's not coming immediately. You have to complete your investment plan based on your business plan. So this means the initial fund, you have to fund yourself, own fund needed for the completion period. Completion period is defined in the each subsidy program. For example, this project has to be completed within 6 months, for example. So for the 6 months, you have to fund yourself. Then after that, you claim the subsidy money. Then you're reimbursed. Okay. The next one is you cannot fund 100% of your investment. Normally, it is only half or 2/3 of total investment. So the rest, half or 1/3, has to be funded by yourself. By yourself means you can fund by your own fund. You can use your bank deposit, of course, or it's okay to ask your relationship bank to borrow the money to fund the rest. Anyway, half or 2/3 normally as a subsidy ratio out of total investment. This is two major points. So this slide, yes, first one, it's a tip to make an application. You should pay attention. No omission of some obligatory information. It is strictly, it is defined in each subsidy program. You have to pay attention to read all words and to fill everything according to the definitions of each program. So, and everything should be written in Japanese. So normally people who are not so good at Japanese, people will ask a Japanese friend and do some special, perhaps some specialty. You ask somebody about some specialty in this field. Anyway, always in Japanese. Then, yes, the second paragraph is small tips to make a good application. Of course, you have to explain your business model, but there should be some techniques. I recommend you to add some visual image using picture, drawings, so that the person who examines your application can understand easily. That is my recommendation. Okay. Then next slide. So from now on this page, yes, this is 3 major subsidy program by Japanese government. Major subsidy means the fund, total fund, is very big. So many appliers, there are many appliers to get these three major subsidies. So I will speak them one by one. Okay, subsidy for small business. Which one is small business? Which one is medium size? It's defined in the Japanese law. So normally, if depending on the types of the industry, if you are engaged in the manufacturing business, small business is number of employees. If the number of employees is less than 20 people, it is in the category of small business. So in case of small business, there are advantages compared to others. This case, which one is advantage? It's a subsidy ratio is 2/3. Normally I half, but in case of small business, to apply this subsidy for small business, is the subsidy ratio is 2/3. But the maximum amount of subsidy is 50万円, 500,000 yen. And look at this column. It's adoption of record. So I mean, which one is easier? Which one is difficult to be successful? This small subsidy for small business is the adoption rate is 70%. It's good. So 7 applications out of 10 can be passed. Next one is IT related subsidy. The purpose is that in whatever industries, whatever business, if you want to improve so productivity or improve your service to the customers by using IT, you may think about this subsidy, type of subsidy. Third one is a big one. The amount is 10,000 yen or 30,000 yen. 1000万円, 3000万円. Big amount. It can be used by either manufacturing company, okay, or retailer, okay, or some other service company also. It's okay to apply. Subsidy ratio is high. And look at this adoption record rate is 40%. So it's relatively lower than the others. So this means the last one is a bit more difficult than the others. So this is 3 major big subsidies by the Japanese government. So all of them are available at this moment. So this one, yes, to explain again subsidy ratio. I told you the case of the subsidy for small business, the subsidy ratio is 2/3. So what does it mean, 2/3? This slide explains. If you need money for investment, 750,000 yen, for example, and so 2/3 of 750,000 yen can be covered by subsidy, so which is 500,000 yen. which is also maximum. So the rest, 1/3, 250,000 yen, is own fund necessary. So you can cover 750,000 yen as an initial, as an investment. You need investment for this amount. 2/3 is covered by subsidy. The rest is covered by your own fund, including your borrowing. That is the meaning of subsidy ratio. And so this is so this year, a very special year for the government because of coronavirus. So for these three major subsidy, there are some special conditions. If your business plan is something to cope with corona, you can get some special better conditions if your business plan is related to coping with corona. So what kind of advantage? It's as for small business, I told you the maximum amount is 500,000 yen, but this case increased to 1 million yen. Also, IT, in case of IT subsidy ratio increased up to maximum 3/34. Same as to the subsidy to increase corporate ability, which provide you 10 million or 30 million yen bigger. Also, the subsidy ratio can be increased to 3/4. Special condition. So this one. So in what case is the special condition? This is the answer. Corona, against corona. 3 different cases against corona. First one, for example, if your business have some problem with the supply chain, your purchase of some goods from your previous, from your supplier, but the supplier have the impact of or damage of corona, so they cannot supply to you. In that case, you have the problem. So using this subsidy, you can, for example, you can make the purchase. No, you can make the materials by yourself, for example, or you can try to find out the other resource of supplier. So in order to do so, you can use this fund. This is the first one. Second one, it's to avoid coronavirus, you are obliged to change your business model to remote one from current face-to-face type of business. If you need money to change your business model, you can use this subsidy. Third one, it's for your employees to avoid your employees from coronavirus. Now, government urge companies to use telework. So change working conditions to telework. You can use this special this subsidy with these special conditions. this is this year's special one. So from now on, more details are given. Subsidy for small business. So maybe you have some questions. In what case you can apply? The answer is, this is example. For example, if you want to create a website, or you have the already website, but you want to modify or update your website, you need some money, you can use this subsidy. Or depending on the business type, if you have some shops on the street and you want to improve some interior of the shop, decoration or design, something like that, you can use this subsidy. Or some companies use or make flyers to let know your possible customers. Yeah, paper, but the paper, it costs money, of course. You can use this subsidy. Or some advertisement on media, such as newspaper, town paper, radio, anything. And working conditions. To improve working conditions of employees, you can use this because improving working conditions leads to the better service to customers. Then you can anticipate the sales growth or get more customers, etc. This is just example. And IT, in what case you may consider to use this subsidy? There are three different types of case. I don't explain in detail, but three different types. And for example, expense for software, update software, or new install of software, or you want to use cloud, or you want to hire somebody expert, and you can pay or buy this subsidy. C-type is a very special one. Mainly to cope with Corona. Okay. Next one. This is some examples in what case you can use this IT subsidy. For example, if you're doing a business for food and drink service business, for example, maybe you want to have a new system to manage customers, such as acknowledgement of preference. For example, if the customers have allergy of something, you want them to become a repeaters. So you want to be careful about the preference. This is just example. Anyway, to improve system to manage customers, for example, you can use this using this IT technology, IT system to control better management of customers. Or if you're doing on wholesale business or retail business, you need to update maybe stock control. Or it applies to all industries. better communication with customers, you can use IT improvement. Logistics, or efficient dispatch of people, for example, or accommodation business, reservation system can be improved, can be updated by new information instrument. Just example. And last one, third one. It's a big subsidy. And so the purpose is to improve the productivity in case of manufacturing, or to introduce new business model, or to develop a new product, and to for manufacturing company, retailers, or service industries, in whatever industries can be applied. Oh, sorry. Excuse me, sorry. Okay, sorry. Sorry. Oh, this service. Yeah, okay. I'll give you more details about this big subsidy. Okay, eligibility, only SME and some other, even sole proprietorship, okay. Conditions. You must have your head office or some place of your business should be in Japan, not overseas. Amount, general amount, maximum amount is 10 million Japanese yen. And there is currently another different type of subsidy has been announced, which is for global development. So if you, for example, manufacture some products to export to other foreign countries, you can fund 30 million yen maximum. And application opportunity, I will explain here. Already this year, 3 times government announced the opportunity to apply this subsidy. So now it is 4th time at this moment. It's available. Application will be available by 26th November this year. After that, according to the current information, final one is next February in the next year. This is 5th time of this financial year, and which is last. So now, anyway, this time is available to apply for 4th time period by 26th November. And the investment period of completion, I explained before the period of completion, period of business plan or investment plan, which you have to fund yourself, I told you. And during that period, you have to complete your business at the maximum of 10 months in this case. So in other words, 10 months, you cannot get the fund. but bigger amount, 10 million or 30 million. Okay. So this year, there's a special rule. It's called beginner's luck rule. I named this one. I named it. What does it mean? Some people, some companies have the experience of getting the different subsidy in the past, because this subsidy continued for last maybe 6 or 7 years. So some companies had got the subsidy every year, for example, with a different purpose, with a different subject. But this year, those kind of companies which had several times will be some get minus point on the for examination, downgrade for examination. In other words, beginners, that means the first, the company which applied to first this year, they have the advantage for examination. This new rule is solved in this year. So I explained 3 major national governmental subsidy. So now I give you local subsidy, which is for entrepreneurs. So different type of subsidy. I'll explain this by this slide. Okay, these are details. Subsidy to entrepreneurs by Tokyo Metropolitan Government. Who is eligible? Okay, here, entrepreneurs who plan to set up a company in the future. That's okay. And also companies has already established within 5 years. It's okay. It's also eligible to apply this. But there any companies can apply. There are some special conditions as who can apply. There are various. Anyway. And maximum 3 billion yen. Subsidy ratio is 2/3 at maximum. This is now it's available to apply this one. The deadline of application is a month later, between 1st October and 9th October. Okay. So you can use for HR cost, rent, advertisement cost, some other miscellaneous cost. Well, this is entrepreneurs, for entrepreneurs. And okay, so from now on, I'll line up some maybe useful information for you. I attached the website to easily get the information. but everything is in Japanese. So if you cannot read it, you can ask some Japanese people. First, subsidy for small business, IT, okay. Subsidy for increased corporate ability. I explained all three, and the others, other useful information. Employment subsidy due to coronavirus. SME companies get some subsidy for employees. Initially up to end of September, but it extended to the end of this year. This information is in this website. Today, I'm not talking about some special subsidy by coronavirus using some help of continuing business or fund of the rent. There are special programs, so but I don't speak about these funds. But only this extension of employment subsidy for Corona, I get this one because this is a big news for the company who have the headache of employees. It is anyway extended to end of December. It's good news. And BCP program subsidy in Japan. Many some natural disasters or like earthquake or tsunami or some typhoon, etc. So companies are requested to prepare some BCP backup continuous program. The government will help the company to make this BCP program by using this subsidy. So the details in this website. And next one. Oh yes, this is a very special one. If you have some special some products for against corona, maximum it's a big amount, 100 million yen you can get subsidy from the government. In this website, their explanation. Last one is not related to corona. If you want to use some exhibition in Tokyo Forum or some other big exhibition center, if you want to participate in this exhibition, you need some money to prepare. So this subsidy can be used for that participation of examination provided by Tokyo Metropolitan Government. You may look at the website to get more knowledge. So, and many others, as I told you, total 3,000. I assume you're interested in. Okay. So far, that's it. So if you have any questions, I'm happy to answer you. Thank you for your paying attention. Thank you very much.
Again, thank you, Kawai Sensei, for excellent presentation. I think we're very lucky here in Japan to have access to all these different options for us in setting up our businesses, but I know it can be incredibly difficult to navigate all of the information that is available. So thank you very much for your very easy to understand explanation today. So I think Fujino-san's just sharing a list of questions.
No, it's okay. But the grants are supposed specifically for foreign entrepreneurs. No, not specific. For all of them, including foreign entrepreneurs and Japanese entrepreneurs in public. Foreign, in case as self-employment, for example, you have to take care of your status, residential. You have to pay attention to your residential status officer. Otherwise, it's yes, equal to apply the subsidy. Okay.
Fantastic.
Second one.
That's right. So are there any specific grants for companies, that's right, that started up within the last year?
Specific grants for companies that started up within last year, specific grants. Oh, no specific grants, no specific to the companies started up, which started up last year. No, any SME companies. The subsidies I explained are available for any SME companies, of course, including the companies established in last year or 2 years ago, 3 years ago. It's okay.
Okay.
Third one, I want to know acceptance. Oh, accept the rate. Okay. I mentioned in the last slide, maybe third one. In case of the subsidy for small business, the acceptance rate is 70%. And IT, I think it's 50%, something like that. And corporate liability subsidies are around 40%, I told you. It's acceptance rate, yeah.
Okay. Do you know how that kind of compares to the kind of subsidies that might be available overseas or in other countries? Is that quite a high acceptance rate comparatively?
In the other countries? What do you mean? Other countries?
Where these sorts of subsidies might be available, it seems quite a high acceptance rate. Would you say so?
Oh, no, I cannot compare with other countries. But in general, in Japan, maybe it's easier compared to other countries to get a subsidy. Easier, I think, because Japan is, in other words, Japan is maybe social country. Capitalism. Yes, it is capitalist companies, but social. How can I say? Social countries to assist the SME companies, especially. So maybe easier for the SME compared to other countries, in my opinion.
Yeah, a good place to be. Good. Great. So the next question we had, what is the common mistake, or what is common mistakes that might be made for applicants that would cause them to be declined for a subsidy?
It's very small. It's small mistake, such as, of course, if you miss to provide one of the documents which is necessary, it's of course drop from the applicant, of course. And also, if you miss the filling, the important information in the documents, it can be dropped easily. And for example, you can explain why your turnover increased in 3 years' times. For example, you have to explain a reason or your plan. Because of this reason, I expect company's turnover increase with some reasonable explanation. If you miss, for example, this information, you may easily drop. So be careful. If you pay attention carefully, reading the application program or documents, it's quite a lot. For example, maybe 15 pages in Japanese. Carefully read the contents, taking enough time to understand and to prepare the documents. You can. It's not so difficult to avoid this mistake. Yeah. Okay.
Well, perhaps those of us who, might have a little bit more trouble on the Japanese side of things. It's great to have TOSBEC or other sort of similar services to help maybe guide us through reading those documents as well. I know personally I would find that incredibly challenging. So yeah, it's great to have those sorts of services.
They can consult with. And do I have to submit or translate all into Japanese, such as the receipt of IT system X, things you purchased? Translate or document into Japanese, such as, in this case, this person purchased IT system from overseas, maybe. Huh? That's
right. So perhaps the purchases that were made overseas, or even maybe contracts that were signed with a foreign company in Japan that might have been in a different language. Do those have to be translated into Japanese, or can they be submitted in their original language?
She must understand basic concept or conditions. I spoke on the previous slide, because subsidy must be will be paid in advance. No, always later payment after completion of your period. Okay, but the one special condition. As long as you get the permission of the subsidy, you cannot go ahead to start the investment. Okay, so once you get the permission of subsidy, you ask the quotation, or you ask the purchasing of your investment. So then, during several months, for example, the machine will be settled. Okay, and this case maybe after that, this machine, came from overseas, for example, and the settlement on some calculation or receipt is in English. This case, then you have to attach this original receipt in English. It's a purchasing evidence from overseas, and with some translation of that receipt, you prepare everything and submit to the authority. But always after completion of your business investment.
Okay.
Did I
answer?
Okay.
Yeah, so yeah, that's a great answer. Just one thing to confirm with that as well, when presenting the Japanese translation, is that something that you can do yourself, or should it go through kind of an official organization to obtain that translation?
Not official one necessary, just for just brief translation is attached to the original one. That's okay.
Okay, oh, that's great.
Fantastic. The take to be notified that you're entitled to receive the subsidy after submission. Yes, in the program, which is made public, always there's an announcement, information when the result of examination is announced. For example, in this case, the current program, which expires on the 26th November, I told you. Sorry, deadline 26th November this case. Notification will be announced 1 month later, so by the end of this year. So maybe nobody 1 month later can be that the notification is made. So those information also included in the publication of the program. Okay, normally
fantastic.
1 month anyway.
Thank you very much. Well, we do have some time left, so if anyone who's with us today has any additional comments, please either hit the raise your hand button, or you can pop something into the chat box as well. But while we wait, Kawai Sensei, did you have any final comments that you'd like to share with us today?
This chat box?
Any other comments or anything else that you'd like to share with us this afternoon? Any closing remarks?
Okay. Any other information you mean?
Any final remarks?
Okay. Yeah. Maybe yes. You need to anyway. Japanese people to help.
Yes.
But as long as your business model is great, good, fit to Japanese market, and with some kind of revolution or new ones, it's okay. It's very welcome by the government. But the explanation itself is necessary in Japanese. In that sense, you need to ask your Japanese friend. But basically, the business model itself must be very great, fantastic one. Yeah, and I think, according to my experience, people from overseas has just a different type of the sense of some business model. So sometimes they are very good one, but normally you cannot get this subsidy, or you cannot get the Japanese clients as it is. You may modify, or you may add more explanation. You may change something, add some other information. What can I say? Change something according to the using the advice from your Japanese who knows well Japanese market. This is my recommendation. Right.
Definitely. Thank you. That is very important advice. Thank you very much. And it doesn't look as though we have had any others come through the chat. But finally, thank you again, Kawai Sensei, for joining us today, for taking the time to share all this information with us. I'm sure everyone who's joined us has found it incredibly beneficial. And yes, we look forward to hopefully working more with TOSBEC and hopefully as a chamber as well, sharing more of this sort of information with our members. So if you have any particular requests, those listening in, for the kind of information that you'd like to receive, please do get in touch with us. And we'll see what we can do. But a final, arigatou gozaimashita. Thank you very much, Kawai.
Thank you very much.
And thank you to Fujino-san as well.
Thank you very much.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.